Why it sucks to be born a crocodile. Once again, you push against the ever-narrowing walls of your dark, gooey prison. You don't know why, but something inside you tells you today is the day to give it all you've got. The sustaining goo has given you a fair amount of energy for this first task, so you keep going. Eventually, after what feels like an eternity, you hear a slight crack, then another, and another. Crack! An entire shard of shell breaks off as the goo oozes out into the unknown outer world. Cool air touches your skin for the first time, and you open your eyelids and nictating membranes to take in your surroundings. Total darkness again. You keep struggling against the rest of the shell, working your young limbs, neck, and tail. With a final explosion of your minute power, you manage to wriggle out, head first into the outer dark. However, you immediately smack your little snout against another hardened surface. Another egg. You spin around and find several other eggs, and some of them are twitching slightly. You turn around again as the egg you bumped into earlier makes a series of cracking noises. The cracks branch out from the spot you hit, and a little clawed foot pokes out. And another. At least you have a clear enough view of the egg you hit, and the little female Nile crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, that has just emerged from it. You have a sister. That's good. At least you won't have to navigate this darkness alone. After a couple of hours, other siblings join the two of you at the center of the nest. You familiarize yourself with your new brothers and sisters, taking in their scents and voices. All in all, there are 8 of you in the nest, wriggling bundles of carnivorous joy. But where's Mother? Will she be home soon? Will she be home at all? Uncertain, you and your fellow hatchlings wait it out. After another few hours, a soft scraping sound resonates through the dark chamber surrounding your nest. With each heartbeat, the sound gets louder, and the sound maker gets closer. Immersed in the new, powerful stimulus, most of your siblings start making their way towards the sound. Mother is home, and her restless little brood is literally running over each other to meet her. She'll have all the answers you guys need. You and your little sister struggle to keep up and lag behind, but even in the dark, your keen eyes get a glimpse of the horrific big picture. It's not Mother. In reality, it's a full-grown Nile monitor lizard, Varanus niloticus, and your siblings are headed right for it. Stopping in your tracks, you spot a second monitor creeping up behind the first. You see the malice in its eyes as the predators spring into action. The first monitor snatches one of the larger hatchlings, a male, in its jaws and gobbles him up in a stomach-churning instant. The second monitor lands a massive foot on a small female hatchling while grabbing another male baby in its cruel jaws. As the reality of the situation dawns on the rest of the brood, the first monitor attacks again and picks up another sibling before turning and exiting the tunnel. A snack for later, no doubt. The second monitor scrambles forward, its massive tongue flicking and lapping yolk off the underfoot sibling's body. You and your first sister retreat in horror, but soon reach a wall of earth. Nowhere to run. Your other sister wiggles under the weight of the large lizard, but to no avail. The monitor is going to take its sweet time devouring your sibling. What a birthday this has turned out to be. However, just as the predator prepares to eat its prey, it is suddenly and violently jerked backwards, almost as if something had pulled on the lizard's tail. A low, rumbling growl fills the tunnel and chamber as an even larger creature lumbers into the kill scene. Still clawing backward onto a wall, your heart pounds as you try to make sense of what is going on. Soon the tunnel reveals an even larger reptile, a true apex predator with blood dripping from her jaws. Your mother, Salvation. With zero remorse over the dead lizard or missing hatchlings, your mother opens her jaws and scoops you and your remaining siblings in her jaws. Her teeth guide you onto the Mom Express, and you clamber into her spacious mouth. She's surprisingly gentle for someone with blood-stained teeth, and soon she starts reversing out of the nest chamber. As Mother passes into the tunnel, she pauses to regard the female hatchling who was being licked by the monitor. She's hurt. Her back and hind legs are entirely crushed, and she cannot use her tail. She will not survive. Mother keeps reversing out of the nest chamber, leaving the crippled sibling to die. A few minutes later, you emerge from the tunnel and get your first taste of fresh outside air. Your leathery nostrils fill with oxygen and the smell of the African wilderness. It is nighttime. However, the star-dotted sky means you have more than enough light to take in the surroundings through your mother's teeth. The second monitor lies dead at the mouth of the tunnel, blood oozing everywhere. However, you don't really see much before being washed over by another stimulus: water. Your mother gently lowers her jaws into the lake's edge, guiding your baby steps as you take to the water for the first time. Instinct takes over as you angle your limbs beside your body and wriggle your tail, propelling yourself forward. Your nostrils automatically shut off as you submerge and dive, feeling your way through the weeds and crawling along the sandy bottom. You and your siblings frolic and explore the lakeshore for the rest of the night, taking care not to venture too far from your protective mother. Who knows what other dangers lurk in this big new world? As dawn approaches, you hear big splashes from further along the lakeshore. It seems some of the older crocs have made a kill, maybe a zebra or a wildebeest. The adults rip and tear the animal, and then currents direct a strong whiff of fresh blood in your direction. Doubtless, your father, the dominant male, is at the heart of this early morning feast. One day, you'll be among the mob too, fighting and death rolling for your piece of the prize. But for now, you and your siblings must steer clear of other crocs or risk becoming snacks. As the sun climbs further into the sky, your mother drifts deeper into the lake and swims toward the carnage, struggling to resist the call of blood. The monitor lizard she shared with you and your siblings was a meager meal for her, and she's going to need to keep her strength up if she's going to help you survive. But still, you feel very vulnerable when she's not around. As morning stretches into mid-morning, daytime insects land on the water surface, reeds, and lily pads, giving you plenty of hunting practice. Bugs are going to be a staple part of your diet for a couple of months, until you are big and nimble enough to catch small fish and amphibians. Larger fish and small mammals will be part of the menu after a couple of years. As you swim underwater in search of curious sights, you see a pair of strange reeds, isolated from the rest of the shore's weeds. As you approach, your first hatchling sister drops into the water between you and the reeds. But before you can reach her, a sharp object pierces through the water, grabs her, and pulls her violently from the water in a splashy flash. You surface, and your membrane eyes open in time to witness the horror of your little sister's tail disappearing down a shoebill stork's gullet. Immediately, you dive underwater and dart for the camouflage of the weeds and murky shore water, your tail wriggling like your life depends on it. Luckily, you make it and rest on the lake floor. You stay perfectly still, shaken by what you've just witnessed. Giant lizards and giant birds, all in one day. Predators everywhere. You've gotten away so far, but how long will your luck hold out?